Rand Paul said something that's just even remotely sensible, right, about abortion, and conservatives are really angry with him. He was in an interview with former Obama advisor David Axelrod, and Axelrod asked him, if you were president, right, which is incredibly unlikely, as we all know, if you were under some bizarre, unlikely circumstances president, would you try to repeal or overturn Roe versus Wade? Paul responded, even though he personally believes that life begins at conception and that abortion is wrong, that the country is quite divided on this issue, and therefore it would not make sense to try to overturn Roe v. Wade altogether. He said, I think where the country is somewhere in the middle, and we're not changing any of the laws until the country is persuaded otherwise. If we look at polling, people are actually more pro-choice now than at any other point since the passage of Roe v. Wade. The reality is that in spite of these relatively sensible comments, he's just slightly sensible. He's not even saying anything particularly progressive. Conservatives went nuts in spite of the fact that he has a very strong anti-choice record. Remember, Rand Paul introduced the Life at Conception Act in March, which grants legal personhood to zygotes, right? Zygotes from the moment of fertilization. He is a guy who is very anti-choice, but even just saying this, Lewis, fired up the right-wing base against Rand Paul.
It seems like the only people who are going to vote for Rand Paul are that small libertarian section of the Republican Party, and they're very passionate and fervent, and they support him with every fiber of their being, but it's just not enough to become president.
Lewis just introduced a new portmanteau. He combined the words fervent and feverish into fervent, and it is absolutely brilliant, Lewis. I mean, it
Did
is.
I?
Yeah,
I didn't think I said that.
No, it's incredible. It actually is a brilliant portmanteau. You're combining feverish and fervent, and I think it very accurately describes a lot of these people who we remember, Lewis. We have Jeb Bush, who was completely ostracized by Republicans by saying, the illegal immigrants that are here, they're probably not just going to leave, so we probably should have some kind of path to citizenship for them. Right-wingers went nuts. Rand Paul isn't 100% crazy anti-choice by saying he would try to repeal Roe v. Wade. Conservatives don't like that. This is lining up to be a pretty interesting 2016 election.
I guess if you have to distance yourself from logic and reason, then yes, we can expect quite a show.
We are member supported, and there's a whole other show that we do just for our supporters. Get all of those member benefits right now by going to davidpakman.com.